So here, this is the alphabet. This is the alphabet for creating Schauberger machines. And we have an A and a B and a C, so to speak. And given his blueprints, and this is what I'm working on now. So I've done some of the practical work. I've worked on my cursive, so to speak, right? I'm working on my cursive here. This latex form would be, this is now I'm going to learn how to bake this electrochemically by coating this with a conductive paint and electroplating, and then lifting the copper part off of the wax. And here, in doing this method that I've developed, which is not really in my development because lost wax casting is extremely ancient. This goes back to the old world. And perhaps this is what Atlanteans were the method they were employing to grow nature. Bioelectrical, mechanical machines. So here, this is the cursive writing, the language. And here on YouTube, really, YouTube, the skill on YouTube, all the alchemists, the metal workers, the 3D printers, the CNC machinists, really there's so much skill out there on YouTube. And what I really am starting to see here, I'm gonna grab one book. When I'm beginning to realize, okay, so here, you look over here, yeah, I could do this on my own. I can do this on my own. And right now I'm fortifying my spiritual connection, fortifying my spirit so that I can dive back in and do the job. But the reason that I've been making these videos is because I realize as well there's another component to this, the sharing of the information, because really this is a big job, okay? In the most down-to-earth way to say it, it's not a one-man job, okay? Building these machines is not a one-man job, but it can be done, and it can be done for the very principle with which one is trying to actuate within a bioecotechnological machine can be actuated within oneself. I learned this, I know this. So now I can spin up my heart bioecotechnological and really sort of take this cursive writing, bioecotechnological, bioelectrical, this cursive language here, language of forms, and assemble into sentences and into paragraphs and into living creative machines, living, breathing, creative machines. So this here, really, Viktor Schauberger talked about natural communism. So this here, I could get on a really long tangent about liberalism, the blue, the liberal and the conservative, and the ideas of fascism and communism and socialism and conservative values. And when I say communism, when Viktor Schauberger uses the word communism, he's speaking with respect to nature, and how in nature, he says, no stag greases another's palm. Basically, nature, the squirrel, he feeds himself and only himself, his family as well. He stores for his family, for himself. Nature, really, the overabundance of a healthy forest provides plenty of food so that nature does not really need to fight. And here we can get into survival of the fittest, because an extremely healthy, well-tended to nature will produce an overabundance, and this overabundance is going to change the environment. It's going to change the culture in the petri dish, quote unquote. And by changing the culture in the petri dish, we're going to foster evolution to fight, or we're going to foster evolution to fly. That's the question here. Does evolution fight to fly, or does it fight to die in wars and rifled guns? And this is really the question, to be or not to be, technologically speaking, in the future. And what I see here is that it is this true communism, which arises when free energy becomes a reality. This true communism now where everybody can become a homesteader, and everybody becomes a homesteader, and everybody is now able to practice their religion, so to speak, and grow gardens without and gardens within. Because here, growing this garden without is part of the growing the garden within. Here, throwing clay without is throwing clay within. And playing music without is playing music within. And all the different studying, all this information, these are ingredients. These are like all the different spices and different ingredients that we will gather together to cook up a meal. Nature doesn't play dice. Einstein said nature doesn't play dice. She doesn't play chance, but she does dice. She does actually, she is playful. She does dice and analyze and synthesize, and she plays with a full deck. So nature plays with a full deck, and her full deck includes the nuclear, the atomic, the molecular, the vegetable, the animal, consciousness, mythology. Her full deck includes she is an extremely efficient carpenter. Her full deck includes the trades, so important. All the different materials the trades work with, all the different, this is her deck. Her kitchen table, all the ingredients she uses to cook universal, it is full to brimming here. She's got a full deck. She's the bee, and do we get to fly with her? This is really the question that Okay, this is the question I ask myself. Okay, maybe I'm weird. People like the movie Back to the Future, talk about hoverboards and stuff, and well, I see the reality, and also, not only do I see the reality, but I'm working towards it. Here, the alphabet, the whorl pipes, the meandering membranes, the hubs, and I will get there on my own, but it doesn't matter if I do it. It doesn't really matter if I do it. Because here we want this to become so common, like zippers, this technology to transform the world. It really needs to become ubiquitous. And here, this technology, this is levity technology. This is the hoverboard. All of these books, you see how worn this book is here. Okay, so this is about 15 years of studying, and then the last 5 years learning electrochemistry, and the last 10 years learning pottery and music and reading and cooking and gardening and friendships and relationships, and the gamut, the full deck. And I really think to explain universe, so very similar to Arthur M. Young, it's really one requires the full deck, the exercise, the reflexive universe, dancing, the tough and the gentle, the need and the throw. So, two eights. Back to the Future, 88. Hoverboards and levity technology, yes, is so possible. In my inner world, this is a reality, and I learning how to transpose my inner world into my outer world. And you can go on my channel, see my electrochemical work and all of this. And I know, I know there are people way smarter than me, right? We know this. And all the people who are building Schauberger stuff, many of you are doing it alone or in small groups. And this is a familial task. Does that make sense? That's a familial task. Because here the responsibility of flying is great, and consciousness needs to be well tended to. Here, the consciousness well tended to, well tended consciousness. We can have tea and steep with the goat, and then come back and try to explain how to explain. Here, Mother Nature, her gardener is Masanobu Fukuoka. Here, her sustainability, it does not happen overnight, and it does not happen by way of an agenda. This takes 5 years to grow and establish a grapevine. 5 years to grow and establish a grapevine. Here's the grape, the future-free energy, the time, the understanding of how to work with nature in this book, The One Straw Revolution. Here, a whole other video could be made on how Masanobu Fukuoka learned to work with nature by doing less. The do-nothing farming. And Fukuoka is a higher order farmer. He is gardening with her right now, for sure. He did his work here. That's, my own personal belief there. He's cold composting the tree of life, universal in the ethereal realms. Okay, so I think this one, I'm going to end this one here. Thanks for listening. Continuing with this stream of thought, Viktor Schauberger, double spiral flow pipe, double spiral flow motion, eco-technology, music, the fourfold operator, 4/4 time in music, in reality, the courtroom, the sporting event, the opposition, and the audience, the fourfold operator. This is a way of a thought mode, a way of explaining things. And what I'm beginning to see now is that I can explain in the fourfold operator, in the threefold operator. In a way, we can think about the threefold operator, your past, your present, your future. Okay, we can think about this in terms of eating, to shop, to cook, to eat, to be satisfied. You can think in terms of thoughts and feelings and actions, the head, the heart, and the feet. That's the threefold operator. The twofold operator, the chirality in nature. Twofold operator, left hand, right hand rule. We can use an analogy in The Simpsons, Bart and Lisa being a left-hand, right-handed chirality. And what I can do is make some analogies there. And then the one-fold operator. What's the one-fold operator? Is the one-fold operator the one. So the one-fold operator, the one. Well, this is where words lack. Here, what I would like to do in my own way is, I'm with all of this different literature and thinking, and perhaps this is what I'm doing is explaining Mendelevian, my own understanding of universe. And here we have an evolution, Mendeleev to Russell, and understanding. And we can see this building up of the universal garden, through the eternal centrifugal cycle. And what we're talking about with the one-fold operator, the one-fold operator, the plane of inertia, the golden middle way, the absolute zero, the one-fold operator, the omnipresence, the omniscience. All power is from one, all power returns to one. One-fold operator. We can also think in terms of the cosmology here, the Celtic lunar zodiac, and the operators, right? This would be the one-fold, two-fold, threefold, and fourfold. So I'm going off on tangents here, but what I'm intending to get to is that Mother Nature here in double spiral flow motion, here we see a country-style garden. This is a metabolism, a composting of the media of Earth, which grows gardens. And these are the tree of life gardens, in a sense, within a biotechnological machine, a machine which pulses and repulses and pulses to ennoblement. The pulse repulse to ennoblement is the Russellian, this Russellian wave, the octave wave, and here perhaps absolute zero in mass, temperature, and inertia. The one, within everyone, the one, within all of creation, the one being the fulcrum, the foundation. From the one, the inertial. This is the garden path here, the inertial line, and here the garden, all the different variety and color and texture, scent, space, the creation of space, X, Y, and Z. And here, into Mother Nature's home, explaining things, I'm trying to explain things after tea, so to speak. Her one-fold operator, her cause. Why so many roses? Why such a beautiful space? And garnering insights, gleaning insights into her cause. Her cause. Why? To branch out into the diversity from the one, to leave home into the garden, and to go back in. So perhaps the one-fold is the question of to be or not to be. Here I have shown this on the music, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, the third movement. And the reason for this is because I do see an energetic relationship between the third movement. Now, uno momento as I plug in the phone. Just get comfortable here. A little bit of coffee. The third movement of the Moonlight Sonata, the first movement here, the absolute zero. The contradiction here being that the first movement, energetically speaking, is a low frequency, like an ELF wave. The first movement is like an ELF wave, and yet the pinky finger, the weakest finger on the hand, or the fourth finger, is playing the high frequency, the highest part of the piece, the melody. So here we can sort of envision energetically the one, and how the one is this is the question I've been asking myself, how is the the red and the violet in the one. How do the red and the violet, how does this become this and this become this? And here, this question of ELF, cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, molecular spectra, microwaves, TV, radio waves, low frequency waves. Starting with the electron volts, 10 to the 11 electron volts for a cosmic ray, highest electron volt. And as we move down the spectrum to low frequency waves, we have this 10 to the minus 10 electron volts. So we have extremely low electron volt, extremely high electron volt. Here we have the cellular radiation at 10 to the minus 3 electron volts, the molecular spectrum at 10 electron volts. And in terms of the size of the wavelength in centimeters, we have extremely high frequency. So this would be in terms of the Beethoven Moonlight Sonata. This is the pinky finger playing the melody, the cosmic ray of the piece. And over here, this is that low frequency moonlight, the water, that undertow, the low frequency wave. And here in the very first movement of the Moonlight Sonata, now this is not the first movement, this is the third movement, but this is also the original, of Beethoven's original writing. And here he shows us in the movements of the Moonlight Sonata how the violet and the red dance in 4/4 time here. And then we have the flower between the abyss, the interface zone, the 3/4 time, the waltz. And here we have the third movement. This is the third movement. The rapidity, the stampede, and the stormy stampede of the third movement. And so here, listening to the piece is one level, learning the piece is another level, and then there are layers and layers, right? In the same way that there are layers in a garden and layers in a bouquet and layers in a meal. Why Beethoven? Why write these pieces? Why struggle and sacrifice to write this music? And here I really do see the fish eagle. The fish eagle as poetically symbolizing this, because using two different colors here. Where the blue is. The fish eagle in the Moonlight Sonata, and the eagle is descending in his dance to eat. And here the water, the lake, the level, the wave. And here the fish, the school, the salmon, dance up for a living meal. And this in the tree of life and nature what I'm beginning to see is this is the predator, right? And prey. And this can also say the prayer and the prey, right? The prayer and the prey. And this is one octave lower, predator and prey, and this is one octave higher, the prayer and the prey. Because here the meal is eaten, but there is a circulation that takes place to ennoblement, if that makes sense, to a greater garden, so to speak, to a higher order piece of music. And here, perhaps Beethoven, this music, it was the, so how is this working here now? Because Beethoven, this is his inspiration. These are his fish he has caught and written into music for us to transform, right? In a sense, this is kind of how these ideas relate. That, consciousness as well. Consciousness can be a predator and take advantage of ideas and hold on to them, because here, this is the ring, the Lord of the Rings, the great power. With great power comes great responsibility. And in nature, it catches and eats the fresh meal, and then the energy is freed immediately. This is like a cosmic dinner table. So what Beethoven, what he did is his inspiration was channeled into music. That's his Y factor. We can talk about Reich now and his work and the Y factor with his life motors. And get into that. And how Bart and Lisa, this twofold operator, this is another way of looking at things, and how does this all tie in here? Because Bart is counterintuitively, he is a very bad student. Yes, Bart is a bad student. He almost failed and had to repeat which grade, the 4th grade or the 3rd grade. And Lisa, she is extremely bright and extremely sensitive. And Lisa is really a model student. Okay, so here we have two very different people and different genders. And what I am starting to see is that these writers, everything, there's this embedded, these embedded paradoxes asking to be cooked, to be reconciled, to be explained. I don't know if you can necessarily explain, this is why I use analogy so much. But here, Bart and Lisa, the left and the right hand, Bart is a very bad student, and yet Bart is also an excellent student, because we can flip things and Bart can become the excellent student. And how does Bart become the excellent student? Well, because he is a skateboarder and he is very connected with natural movement. So Bart is really utopic. The peace on earth which Lisa dreams of, Bart lives through his movement. See, so there, what I'm trying to do is to really, this twofold operator, this chirality, this left and right hand. In music, we have the treble and the bass clef, the Lisa with her sax, right? And Bart at the chalkboard, writing lines, always in detention. These are opposites, but they do, and even in the show, there are points at which they're at maximum opposition, and then there's a culmination and a reconciliation of the chirality, of the twofold nature of the paradox, and there are also cases where Lisa is very much, like Bart, and Bart is very much like Lisa, and we have these inversions as well in the show. So yeah, the Simpsons and Beethoven, how do they play in together here? The left and the right hand. Okay, this is a little bit of a messier thinking here and explanation. The fish eagle, predator and prey. 1 octave lower, predator, prey. 1 octave higher, the prayer and the praying. Because here in the natural machine, the bioecotechnological machine, The fresh meal, the eagle catches the fish, and then so the eagle eats the fish, but then the fish eats the eagle, in a sense. Like this is the 10 octave wave pulsation building up to a culmination point in a microcosmic sense, in an instance in nature, one of nature's live meal shows. So Mother Nature, within the metaphysical realm of the tree of life. Here, as Schauberger said, there's really no words now. So this is why art is so important, and music is so important, and gardens and flowers, all of this, we see this is all as Viktor Schauberger called, everything we see in our reality is the deceased remains of former life. So even flowers are in a sense, they are dead. And the reason for this is because the more refined energies are the food for the inner garden, the more ethereal gardens. So Beethoven, his music was inspired from above, so to speak, but really one can think of his music being inspired from within. His music is inspired from within, and he writes, and we 100 years later sit down with his music on the piano and play. And he says, what does Beethoven say? It does not matter if you hit the wrong notes. It doesn't matter if you hit the wrong note. You play with passion, play with heart in the threefold. Okay, so to memorize and to learn the music, really need to use the action principle, the feet, and the mind, the head. So we have, but really at a certain point when the piece is known by heart and we play it by heart, this is what I sort of realize is where the complexity simplifies to this oneness. And there now the music is being played back in. And even though you sit there alone at the piano and play, you're playing in to Beethoven. Here, this is the double spiral flow motion. The tree of life, and really a very nice, it's lunar, right? Feminine. And also what I'm beginning to see, this video could go on for a long time if I really get into this. But when we look through all of the different, so let's just flip through quickly here, changing the angle. And look at some of the images. So here, chapter 1, the birch tree. This would be like your Capricornian, but these are moon signs, not sun signs. So here we see the fish eagle. And this is what I'm illustrating here. Look, the eagle is catching the star, the fish, the sacrifice, the living meal. And what I'm beginning to see is that all of these zodiacal images, the trees, the symbols, the gemstones, the flowers, the archetypal characters, this here is an alchemical transformation process shown in the sort of monad here. And this chemical transformation process, we can learn about it by studying Viktor Schauberger's bioecotechnology, because here Viktor Schauberger is giving us the very grounded, down-to-earth blueprints for for fish eagle technology, for natural technology, which operates according to this life ennobling principle. And here we can look at images. There's one particular, all of the artwork here is incredible. But here in this image, so this is the reed. The reed, October 28th to November 24th. The planet of Pluto, the gemstone jasper. Water mint, the archetypal character. Piwil, I don't know how to say that. The head of the Anwen. And it is, I am a threatening noise of the sea. So here we look at this image, and what do we see? A river, and we see an artist's depiction, a seer, an intuitive's depiction of the very same thing which we are being shown by Viktor Schauberger in his double spiral flow pipe. That double spiral flow motion, I lost that piece. This is here. We are really seeing this here, and this here. But now we're seeing a very colorful description of what is happening there. We look at the cauldron, and here the cauldron, we see these outward spirals and these fractal combinations. We see all these gemstones and sort of a portal into the water. We're seeing into the water and this creation of the mineral kingdom, the atomic kingdom. And each of these different moon signs is like a different stage. Very similar to Walter Russell's 10-octave alchemical cycle, just different stages. So let's just go from the very beginning and look at each image. So we have the birch tree, starting with the birch tree. So this is the first image, and now we can imagine we are in an alchemical process, and this alchemical process is the birth of the universe and the death of the universe. And this is the first image, the birch tree and Beth. And then the second image, here, the rowan tree, Lewis, January 21st, Uranus, Peridot, the flower snowdrop. I am a wide flood on a plain. Here. So I'm not going to say much other than the images are illustrating alchemy. Third chapter. The ash tree, neon, the planet Neptune, coral, wood anemone, Lear, sea god. I'm a wind on deep waters. Here, the ash tree. And we are in an alchemical process, and all of these different elements are in different states, so to speak. The first was a lot more frozen. This one is a lot more fluidic. Now, from the ash tree to the alder tree. Fern, March 18th, April 14th. The planet Mars, ruby. The flower, the broom. Archetypal character, Bran or Arthur. I am a shining tear of the sun. Five, the willow tree. April 15th to March 12th, the moon, moonstone, flower, primrose. Archetypal character, Morgan Le Fay. I am a hawk on a cliff. The willow tree, April 15th to May 12th. Six, the hawthorn tree, Uath, May 13th to June 9th. Planet Vulcan, gemstone topaz. Flower wood sorrel, archetypal character Govanen, smith god. I am fair among flowers. Chapter 6, May 13th to June 12th. We're in the summer season now, getting into summer. Chapter 7, the oak tree, Durir, June 10th to July 7th, symbolizing the planet Jupiter, gemstone diamond, flower colt's foot, archetypal character, Dajda. I am a god who sets the head afire with smoke. Here we are in an alchemical process, a dynamic alchemical process being illustrated. And perhaps all of this exists to describe the inner tree of life. Chapter 8, the holly tree, July 8th to August 4th, the planet Earth, the gemstone of red carnelian, flower the meadowsweet, and the archetypal character of Danu. I am a battle-waging spear. July 8th to August 4th. Chapter 9, the hazel tree, August 5th, September 1st, symbolizing the planet of Mercury, gemstone amethyst, the flower vervain. I'm not familiar with that flower. Archetypal character, Olgma. I am a salmon in the pool. Chapter 10, the vine, September 2nd to September 29th, symbolizing the planet Venus, gemstone emerald, flower valerian, archetypal character Branwen or Guinevere. Perhaps I'm saying that wrong. I am a hill of poetry. The grapes. This would be traditionally a Virgo, September 2nd, September 28th. Chapter 11, Ivy, September 30th, October 27th. The moon veiling Persephone, gemstone, opal, flower, the woody nightshade, and the archetypal character of Aaronhod. I am a ruthless boar. The ivy, chapter 11. Chapter 12, the reed, October 28th to November 24th, symbolizing the planet Pluto, gemstone jasper, flower water mint, and the archetypal character head of Anwin. I am a threatening noise of the sea. Chapter 12. Chapter 13. And this is so interesting here. Look, the elder tree, November 25th to December 22nd, the planet Saturn, gemstone jet, the flower, the dandelion, and the archetypal character, the son of Pure Will. Some of these words, I just don't know how to say them. Apologies. I am a wave of the sea. And then there is September 23rd, the nameless day. Gemstone, the black pearl, and plant the mistletoe. Who but I know the secrets of the unhewn dolmen? Who but I know the secrets of the unhewn dolmen? Who but I know the secrets of the unhewn dolmen? That's chapter 13. 13 cycles. And that concludes the cycles there. Now the nameless day. Read the nameless day here. The mistletoe. This revered plant of the Druids was the emblem of life through death. The later Christian custom of kissing under the mistletoe on Christmas Eve was to promote peace. But whatever the custom or calendar, the intercalendar day or extra day of the year was sacred to the Dark Queen in the Celtic myth. The black pearl. Natural pearls are found in oysters and clams in the warm salt water throughout the world. Some river mussels also produce pearls, and Roman writers have referred to pearls being found in British rivers. Indeed, up to the last century, there exists a pearl fishing industry that operated in Welsh and Scottish rivers. The British crown jewels included items set with pearls from these rivers. Because of their unique beauty and natural form, pearls are considered as precious as diamonds. Black pearls in particular are extremely rare, almost legendary, and represent an odd phenomena in nature. The black pearl is therefore associated with this sign as a symbol of uniqueness. The mythology associated with the nameless day. There is a separate mention of this date with regard to interpretation of character because this day in the Druidic calendar falls outside the 13-month year and is therefore not ruled by any trees. But it has been associated with the mythology of the yew tree and the sacred mistletoe. I have very fond memories with yew trees on my grandpa's nursery when I was very young. I love yew trees. In Roman mythology, this later was sacred to Lorunda, an extremely obscure Roman goddess said to be of Sabian origin. She was honored on December 23rd at the altar of the Velabrium, and the ancients equated her with the Lara, the mother of the Lars, or household gods. Offerings were made to her on this day for the departed spirits of slaves. The priests officially designated the day for ancestor worship. But generally speaking, very little is recorded about this day in world myths, and it remains one of the mysteries of the Druidic religion. People born on this day still come under the general vibrations of the elder tree sign, and the differences being that now we have a Sirius twin to both the sun and moon. The number of people born on this day must run into millions worldwide. But to the people of the Celtic blood or ancestry, this interpretation may help to provide the missing key to their whole psyche. In the general summary, these are people of solid achievement, more akin to birch characters. So birch character is the first sign, that would be the Capricorn, with the exception that they are more charismatic. They are people who can quite literally rise from rags to riches, but by the sweat of their brow, but they prefer to devote themselves to a life of service to others. There is, however, a great mystery about these people. Not unlike the reed characters, they are, it seems, very reluctant to become involved too intimately, a similar trait to that of the elder tree characters, but for altogether different reasons. Elder tree people may be wary of family responsibilities, but for people born on the 23rd day and of the 13th month The aversion is to the fear of failure, a failure that makes them step back rather than forward. They will therefore give much thought to both friendship. Now here I can't quite read because it's to both friendship and the peripheral relationships before making any commitments, before they fall in love. It will be forever, and they are the most devoted sons and daughters in their families. Their own parents may have set high standards of achievement, which they intend to follow at all costs. They see life clearly for what it is, a great challenge, and they distrust people who appear always to take the easier course of action, probably because they understand the penalties likely to be levied. They may also travel great distances in connection with their careers. Indeed, they may be born in foreign places away from their native land due to their parents' career. But in later years, they will return to the very same house or town to carry on family traditions or business. Thus, they represent old-fashioned values and service. So that is the nameless day. And the reason, why did I read that there and not all the other ones? Well, it seems there really is a culmination here. We can think now about Terence McKenna, the novelty, time wave zero, and this idea of novelty and uniqueness. And they're coming this culmination such that now there's a twin to the both sun and the moon. So here the twin to the sun and the moon, perhaps analogically thinking, we can see this as being the birth of water, the generation of new life here in the womb. Now I'm going to go back to the beginning of this book and read a few other things. To the Kaliich, the old veiled one. I stood alone within the trees, alone I thought, with all the world but rushing by, so lonely was I. Who in this world could know my heart, its aches, its hurts, in striving to thee? How lonely was I in thee. But as I stood there in the glade, a peace unknown went whispering by. It looked at me as standing there, and saw the heart in need of thee, and stayed a while. The Druids, the Atlanteans, creation myths, traces of Atlantis. And here, when thinking about traces of Atlantis, I really do see Viktor Schauberger as one of the many people who began to see this old recipe. Let's call this a recipe, a bioeco-technological cooking. It's a recipe. There's a language to the recipe. The language is a language of forms. Over here, I have some of the forms working on, so to speak, my cursive, if you will. You can think like cursive writing, right? And learning to get the right curves, learning to assemble, to take the curves, to take the forms, the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's, the membranes, the pipes, and all of these different shapes, which we are going to wax bioecotechnology